Aria and I had a promise. The day we graduated, we would get married. We'd invite all our friends to witness it. Instead, I stood there watching her walk out of the courthouse on someone else's arm. She had married her childhood sweetheart that morning. When I asked her why, a shadow of irritation crossed her face. She brushed aside my shock like it was nothing. Danny and I made a silly promise when we were kids. I'm just honoring it. It will last a month at most. You have waited years for me already. Can't you wait a little longer? Her words cut deeper than any breakup could. In that moment, everything I believed about her, about us, began to collapse. The sunlight was too bright as Aria and Danny stepped out holding their new marriage certificate. Her friends swarmed them, laughing and taking pictures. They looked like a couple straight out of an advertisement, glowing with joy. Danny at least looked guilty. Asher, man, don't be upset. It's temporary. After a month, I'll step aside. I swear. Aria tugged his arm, her tone icy and dismissive. Danny, don't feel bad. I can marry whoever I want. No one gets to control my choices. That spot next to her should have been mine. For years she had talked about our graduation wedding with so much certainty that I never doubted it. She used to say, smiling at me across the library table, when we graduate we sign those papers and celebrate. It will be the perfect ending to our college story. I had believed her. I had counted down the days. I even cleaned up my diet for weeks so our certificate photo would look perfect. I arrived early, heart racing, ready to start our future. Then I saw her in a white dress, veil pinned in her hair, looking like the version of her I had dreamed of for years. Except she was standing beside Danny. My chest tightened so sharply that I had to hold on to keep steady. Aria, you promised me.
Today was our day.
I waited 4 years for this. Her face hardened. I told you already. I'm repaying Danny for an old promise. I'll divorce him in a month. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Was marriage just a toy to her? Something she could toss around for fun? I knew she once had a first love who meant a lot to her, someone she once dreamed of traveling the world with after marriage. But I thought 4 years with me had changed that. I thought I mattered. I was wrong. Come on, Asher, don't be dramatic. One of her friends chimed in. It's only for a month. Danny is harmless. He won't cross any lines. I felt feverish, drained from a night without sleep, my excitement for our wedding carrying me until this moment shattered it. I can't accept it, I said quietly. Aria, you're with me? You should be marrying me today. Her expression sharpened with anger. You're being possessive again. I hate it when you act like this. I had heard that tone before. Whenever she wanted to shut down a disagreement, she called me possessive. I usually panicked, apologized, and folded.
Not this time. Fine, I said.
Maybe I am possessive. But I will not stand by while my girlfriend marries someone else. Danny looked uneasy. Aria, maybe we should just go sign the divorce now. Asher looks really upset. She shot him a gentle look, then turned back to me with a glare like a blade. I'm telling you right now, you will accept this. I'm divorcing him in a month, and that's final. She took Danny's arm and walked away. As their car pulled off, Danny glanced back with a smug little smirk, as if he had won something. And just like that, all her friends disappeared, leaving me standing alone. What should have been the happiest day of my life had turned into a nightmare. I don't remember how long I stood there before finally leaving. The drive back felt unreal, like I was watching someone else's story. Only yesterday we had been studying together. She held her face in her hands and whispered, "We're getting married tomorrow. I can't wait." How foolish I was to think she meant me. Back on campus, she was already posing for graduation photos, proudly holding the certificate she should have signed with me. I'm married, she announced to a crowd of classmates. Tomorrow I'm flying out to start a world trip with the love of my life. It's the bravest thing I've ever done. Someone asked where I was. Everyone knew we were a couple. Her smile dropped. Why would I marry him? I married the boy who meant the most to me when I was younger. Then she spotted me. She walked over, as if I were an inconvenience. Have you finally calmed down? How she managed to act like the injured party was beyond me. When I didn't respond, she rolled her eyes. Stop sulking. Once I get back from the trip, I'll marry you. Happy. For years I thought we wanted the same things, that we saw life the same way. But now it was clear we were walking completely different roads. Aria, I said quietly, do you really think you've done nothing wrong? She stiffened for a moment then snapped. I already told you, it's a fake marriage. Stop overreacting. I nodded. All right. We clearly were not speaking the same language anymore. We stayed silent for the rest of the photo session. People kept glancing our way, confused and curious. Until this morning, we had been the couple everyone pointed to as proof that campus romances could last. Now all that certainty had dissolved. Clear streams can turn muddy, fresh food can rot. Love is no different. When I stepped out of the university gate, Danny was there with a suitcase. Aria followed, dragging her own behind her, practically glowing with anticipation. They looked like a pair eager to start a honeymoon they never deserved. A hot anger rose in my chest. Do not make a scene, Aria muttered as she brushed past me. Then, with the flip of a switch, she flashed a bright smile at Danny. Ready to go? Danny's eyes darted toward me. He looks upset. Maybe we should talk to him. Forget it, she said. You and I are married now. That was the truth. She was someone's wife. I was nothing more than the boyfriend she'd left behind. Still, I couldn't let her leave without trying one last time. I walked up to her. Aria, please, don't leave like this. I had always believed clear communication prevented unnecessary heartbreak, unlike the characters in the stories she liked to read. She stopped, her expression twisting. Are you seriously still talking about this? How many times do I have to repeat myself? Stop being difficult, Asher. You're exhausting. In that moment, something inside me withered. The girl I had once adored, the girl who felt like sunlight after a storm, had vanished. All that remained was someone cold and unrecognizable. Before I could say another word, she left with Danny. Not long after, she updated her social media with a detailed travel itinerary. The caption read, "Waited 4 years for this dream. Planned it for months. Finally beginning my childhood journey today." A tear hit my phone screen. Then another. Then I laughed. A hollow laugh. A laugh aimed at the fool I had been for believing in her. Later, Aria's father called, asking if we had registered our marriage. I still remembered the first time I saw her. She was 16, standing on a stage at a business gala, speaking on behalf of her family. Elegant, composed, and far too bright for someone like me. I fell for her instantly. My family had always expected an arranged marriage. When my parents handed me a list of potential matches, I had chosen her without hesitation. Our families approved. We went to the same university. Real affection had taken root over the years. Everyone expected us to marry after graduation. Mr. Lin, I said, Aria and I won't be getting married. She married someone else. I plan to end the engagement. I'm sorry. There was a long silence. He knew exactly who she had run to and what kind of person she could be. Asher, he finally said, don't act rashly. Let me deal with this. I'll give you an answer. After the call, I saw Aria was streaming live. She and Danny were hugging on a wide green plain, smiling like a picture-perfect couple. It's gorgeous out here, she told her viewers. Make sure you come with the person you love. Danny looked ecstatic. Watching them felt like being stabbed. That place beside her had once been mine. Now I was just an audience member in her happiness. That night, I drank until I couldn't think. Scenes of us together kept flashing through my mind.
Every memory was a blade.
The next morning, my phone rang.
Aria.
The moment I answered, she screamed, I cannot believe how pathetic you are. Running to my dad? Do you think that will change anything? I won't stop my trip with Danny for you. Even if you were on your deathbed, I wouldn't come back. She hung up before I could speak. Right after that, an unknown number sent a message. She's mine. She won't ever love you again. Attached was a photo of Aria and Danny kissing at the base of a snowy mountain. Both of them wearing matching jackets. I knew that place. It was the destination I had dreamed of visiting since childhood. Once we get married, I had told her years ago, let's go there together. People say you should only go with the person you love most. She had smiled and agreed. The memory hit me so hard I had to sit down. My chest felt like someone had carved it open. Maybe fate had never intended for us to be together. If that was the case, why was I breaking myself apart? Days passed. While I hid in my apartment, drowning in grief, they traveled the world. Aria posted about making a wish under the northern lights. I wish that the boy beside me and I will never be separated. While I lay awake at night, they shared secrets under foreign skies. Every new location came with another photo from that unknown number, delivered like a daily dose of humiliation. I was a shadow watching their fairy tale unfold. A month later, I forced myself to stand up again. I told my parents I was ready to join the family business. I told them I would marry anyone except Aria. Nothing in life is permanent, and I should have known that from the start. On my first day stepping into my new role, I held a press conference in a black suit. Coincidentally, it was also the day she was scheduled to return.
She called.
She texted. I ignored everything. After the event, the woman my parents had arranged for me to meet was waiting. She was elegant and smiling warmly. I approached her and offered her a ride. Just as I reached for her hand, Aria appeared. The month away had not changed her beauty, but her eyes burned with outrage. Asher, she shouted. I'm your girlfriend. What do you think you're doing? My girlfriend, I asked, keeping my tone cool. Don't you already have a husband? Her face went pale. I said I'd divorce him after a month. It's been a month. When she saw my hand on the other woman's arm, she stormed forward and pushed us apart. Don't touch him. He's mine. The woman beside me raised an eyebrow. Our parents arranged our engagement. Who exactly are you? The sound of a slap echoed through the hallway. Aria had struck her across the face. Before I could step in, the two of them had launched into a full fight. Hair pulled, nails scratched, voices raised. The chaos ended with both of them being sent to the hospital. Aria's father arrived in a panic, apologizing repeatedly. Asher, I am so sorry. Aria's behavior is unacceptable. He was always respectful to me, so I accepted his apology without complaint. Aria, however, was livid. Dad, how can you apologize to him? He already replaced me. How are you taking his side? Her father's face turned stern. Do you even understand what you've done? Do you know where you've been for the past month? I was keeping a promise to Danny, she said, as if it justified everything. At that moment, the other woman's parents arrived. Seeing the mess and the unresolved history between me and Aria, they immediately canceled the engagement. Aria jumped out of bed, grabbed my shirt, and sobbed, You heartless man. If I hadn't come back, you would have married her, right? I pushed her away. Aria, we are finished. My voice sounded colder than I expected, but it matched the truth. I knew exactly how much that month had destroyed me. I turned to leave, but she wrapped her arms around me. You're not going anywhere until you explain yourself. There's nothing left to explain. I removed her hands gently but firmly. Then I walked out. Only in the car did I realize my chest hurt again. I had told myself I was over her. Seeing her proved I was still learning how to let go. I cut her off everywhere, phone included, hoping that would be the end of it. But the following morning, her bright red convertible was parked outside my new building as if she had every right to be there. There's a dinner event tonight, she said coolly, leaning on the door. You're going with me. She acted as if nothing had shifted, as if the last month had never happened. We're not together anymore, I replied. I never agreed to that, she snapped. A breakup needs both sides to sign off. Since I didn't, we're still together. Now get in. I stepped back from her touch. It made my skin crawl, dragging up every image of her and Danny. You're still married. I'm ending it. Everything online, the trip, the photos, all of it was for closure. You know we had a past. I just needed to finish it properly. Stop being petty. She truly believed she'd done nothing wrong, that she could return whenever she wanted, and I would be waiting right where she left me. We're done, Aria. Stop chasing me. I got into my car, but she tailed me relentlessly. Reckless turns, pushing the speed limit, refusing to let me disappear. It was the same as that argument back in college when she'd chase my car until she lost control. Even now, spite and resentment aside, I didn't want her hurt. So I pulled over. She stepped out smiling. I knew you wouldn't leave me. That was it, the whole problem. She thought love made me her puppet. When we walked into the restaurant, I realized why she had dragged me here. Danny was already inside with their usual circle of friends. She grabbed my arm like old times, but I slipped free and found a corner seat. Her face tightened, yet she followed. Danny leaned toward her. Aria, my chest feels tight again. Probably that altitude thing. She rushed to fuss over him, ordering honey water, stroking his arm. Their closeness barely stung anymore. It was just a dull echo. Danny looked past her with a smug smile. Asher, I heard your family's been pairing you with new women. Planning to ditch Aria? She snapped toward me. Is that true? Is that why you moved on so fast? Her voice rose. We were together 4 years. You abandoned our promise. My laugh came out bitter. She truly believed that. She, the one who married another man, was calling me unreliable. She shoved my shoulder. Say something. Explain yourself or we're done. We already finished, I said quietly. I lifted my glass. To you too. May the future treat you well. I stood. If you walk out that door, Asher, don't bother coming back, she shouted. Good. That was exactly what I intended. She didn't reach out after that. Someone later told me she was posting about her wedding preparations with Danny. I felt nothing. My mind was already elsewhere, buried in work. Looking back, the truth had always been there. Even throughout our relationship, she never cut him out. At every gathering, she'd find a reason to include him, insisting they were just friends. I'd ignored the warning signs. A familiar red convertible swerved in front of my car one afternoon. She stepped out, eyes swollen. You're not even going to call me? She said. You've changed. She was right. The old me would have folded, apologized even when I was the one hurt. I'd once knelt in front of hundreds of students because she demanded it. Aria, I don't love you anymore. Please stop. You're planning a wedding. Her face drained of color. I wasn't actually going to marry him. It was to make you jealous. Nothing happened on that trip, I promise. We can go back. Just give us another chance. She reached for my hand then froze. Your ring, where's your ring? I used to wear a silver band we'd made together in a craft shop. I'd worn it for years. I threw it away, I said simply. Her breath hitched. That ring was our promise. How could you do that? Because I told you that if you went through with that marriage, we were finished. You chose anyway. She bent forward, clutching her chest as if the words themselves wounded her. No, you can't do this to me. I rolled the window up and drove off. Something in me hardened then. If she had truly cared, she never would have walked down the aisle with someone else, never would have kissed another man. Whatever we were, it had already ended long before I admitted it. News broke the following morning that Aria had abruptly canceled the wedding. She had filed for divorce, but Danny refused to cooperate. Their situation had already escalated to legal action. A message came through from an unfamiliar number. If it bothers you that much, I will take care of it. After that, can we go back to how we were? I didn't respond. I had offered her countless chances. If she had turned back at any moment in the past month, I would not have hardened myself this much. Work became my entire focus. The company hit record numbers. Aria's world, on the other hand, was collapsing. Her decision to force the divorce drained half her family's assets. Their business, which had already been floundering after losing a major partnership, was now teetering on the edge. She eventually showed up at my office, tears streaking her face. I left him, Asher. Can we still get married, like we planned? I asked security to escort her out. But she refused to give up. She stood outside the building for hours while a heavy storm poured over the city. From my office window, I watched the rain soak through her clothes. Memories surfaced. If not for Danny, would we have built the life she used to imagine? She once told me she wanted a small house and a chubby baby boy. But that future, whatever it might have been, was gone. She remained outside until I could not ignore her anymore. I went down and drove her home. She was shivering so badly her teeth clenched. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know I hurt you. The apology startled me. Aria had always been proud, untouchable, almost incapable of admitting fault. When we arrived at her house, she resisted getting out. She pleaded with me to stay for dinner, insisting she had something important to say. Eventually, I agreed. Her parents greeted me warmly. They had prepared all the dishes I liked. Aria reappeared wearing dry clothes, her eyes fixed on me. Asher, I asked you here to talk about us. I want us to get engaged again. Her father added quietly, Son, what she did was terrible. But she has reflected on it. Could you consider giving her another chance? Their hopefulness once would have made me falter. But the business world had shown me that sentimentality only leads to ruin. Going backwards never ends well. I'm sorry, I said. I care about Aria, and I will always help her if she needs it. But we cannot be together. Not like before. Aria's face drained of color. Her voice trembled. I'm pregnant. Her words punched the air out of my lungs. We had never crossed that line except once, right before graduation when she had been drunk. And I had taken precautions. Almost as if reading my mind, she said, You're thinking of that night. Condoms don't fail often, but they can. I only found out recently. And I've only ever been with you. My thoughts tangled. I had been so sure there was no going back. But a child changed everything. If it was mine, I could not turn away. Give me a day, I said quietly. I need time. I barely slept. By morning, I told myself that I would accept responsibility. If she was carrying my child, then I would give that child a complete family. I drove toward her house, conviction settling in my chest. Then Danny stepped out from behind a hedge, wearing the jacket he had worn on their trip. He looked almost delighted to see me. Want to guess whose kid she is having? He asked. I stopped walking. Mine, he said with a laugh. We were together most nights on that trip. And we didn't bother with protection. Every muscle in my body went rigid. I'm the only one she's ever been with. She had said it with such certainty. And I had believed her. I'm not totally sure, he added with a smirk. But the chances look good. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to marry her. She belongs to me.
My voice came out low.
Say what you came to say. Danny grinned. Then let's make a bet. Whose kid do you think she is carrying? I went to Aria's place the next morning and told her I wanted to try again, but that we needed a medical check first. She threw her arms around me, glowing with relief. I knew you wouldn't walk away from me, she said. I'll treat you better, I swear. I didn't respond. Only one question hammered in my mind.
Whose child is she carrying?
If the baby was mine, I would take responsibility. If it wasn't, then everything she had put me through would have one final, unforgivable chapter. The hospital confirmed her pregnancy. A healthy fetus, roughly 1 month along. According to the timing, it could be mine. The uncertainty hollowed out my chest. On the drive home, I asked quietly, "You're absolutely sure you've only been with me?" She nodded without even pausing. "Just that one time near graduation. You must be insanely fertile to get me pregnant with a condom on. But I'm happy it happened. If it weren't for this baby, we'd be over. Now we can start fresh." Her words chilled me. I had asked the doctor separately about condom reliability. 99% effective, he'd said. Not impossible to fail, but unlikely. Even so, I needed the truth, not guesses. She insisted we start preparing the wedding. The engagement photos were a must, she said. I followed her lead, silent and detached. Every reminder that she had already taken similar photos with Danny turned my stomach. The morning of the shoot, she made dumplings for breakfast. "Asher," she asked, "do you want a daughter or a son?" "Either," I said. She smiled faintly. "You haven't called me Aria in a long while. Will you?"
Her phone rang.
A man's voice spoke urgently. "Aria, Danny's been in a crash. You need to get to the hospital now." She jumped to her feet. "Can we move the photos to another day?" she asked quickly, then bolted out the door. Not long after she left, my phone buzzed. The paternity test results had arrived. The conclusion was simple. I was not the father. A dry laugh slipped out. My own stupidity felt heavier than the report itself. I forwarded the result to Danny with 2 words.
"Your win."
He called instantly, smug and triumphant. "You lose. So you know the deal. You walk away." He had been the one who told me about the non-invasive prenatal test. If I won, he would vanish. If he won, I would.
"Fine," I said.
Not even angry, he asked, almost disappointed. "No," I replied. "Honestly, thanks. If it weren't for your fake crash, I might still be gullible enough to believe she had actually changed." I ended the call, packed a small suitcase, informed my parents I would be working abroad, and sent Aria one final text.
"Goodbye."
Then I boarded a plane. I moved to London, a place I'd always wanted to work. I buried myself in new projects and tried not to think about the fact that I had allowed myself to be wounded twice. The second cut hurt less, maybe because I was numb. News traveled back home. Danny claimed the baby as his. He cornered Aria's parents, threatening to ruin their already declining company unless they agreed to the marriage.
They caved.
I thought that chapter was closed forever. But on the day of her wedding, she ran. She found me in London, breathless and wild-eyed, standing across the road. She darted through traffic until she reached me. "I lied because I wanted you back," she said. "I knew you wouldn't return unless there was a child. Please, listen. I never meant for it to go this far." "So you plan to hand me another man's child," I said. My voice had no anger left, only exhaustion. "Aria, there's nothing left to explain. You never got over him. Go back." She collapsed to her knees right there on the snowy pavement. "I know I was wrong," she cried. "I shouldn't have married him. I shouldn't have slept with him. I love you more than him. Please give me one last chance." Snow drifted around us. I remembered another winter. Years ago, we had walked these same streets. She had squeezed my hand and said, almost playfully, "If you betray me, I'll destroy you." And if you betray me? I'd asked. She had smiled. I never would. But if I did, I'd kill myself. That memory struck her. Her expression crumbled. I stepped back, turned away, and this time, she didn't chase me. Not long after, news spread. She had rammed her car into Danny's, killing him instantly. Then she had thrown herself into the river. Her last message was a handwritten apology addressed to me. 8 years, gone in smoke. I'm sorry. I had given her 8 years. We had shared 4. And in the end, everything that once looked like love dissolved into something foul.